Intimidation and discrimination are very familiar words to young people who are in leadership or probably walking through the process of getting into leadership. Today we'll be talking about young people who are in leadership. Welcome to this discussion right here at CITAM Church Online Youth Cafe. My name is Mwaniki. So I just bumped into an article of a gentleman called Zach Hughes, and he says in that article how by the time he was the age of 27, he was already a manager, and by the time he was at the age of 33, he was a director. Now, being a director is you are in a position where you are leading other leaders. And he goes ahead to say that when he was 27 and a manager, he was actually leading people who were his peers and others who are also older than him. Now, in this article, he stresses the issue on how Timothy is told by Paul, do not let anyone look down upon you because you are young. And he continues to say, but set an example for the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Now, you could be watching this video and you're a young person in leadership, or you are walking in that process where God is nurturing you to be a leader in the next generation, to be a leader who is going to be an emblem for many people to look up to and people to say that was a great leader or that is a great leader. I'm here to encourage you that very many at times, even in my work, in salvation, in my personal work, I have realized that there are times where God would place me in leadership positions, but for some reason I'm like, I can't get into that place, I can't get into that space. Probably because I felt intimidated at one point or another, and I felt discriminated at some point. But I've come to understand, I've come to realize that if God has called you out into leadership, that is exactly what He has done. And the people around you may not necessarily understand it, but you yourself, you know that you have been cut out to serve as a leader in the area that God has placed you in. Probably not right now, but in a few years to come, you can see that the way your life is going, you're given certain tasks to lead a team, you're given certain responsibilities in your workplace, you're given certain responsibilities even in your family. You're told, are you the one going to do this? Please do this for us. And with time, you start to realize that, has God actually called me out into leadership? Now, I'm here to let you guys know that there is going to be every form of intimidation, and there's going to be every form of discrimination. There are people that you're going to serve who are older than you, and they will question and ask, you don't have any experience. We are the ones who have experience, so what are you doing here? What exactly are you trying to tell us? But I'm here to encourage you guys and to let you know that there's value that God has placed in you. There's worth that God has placed in you. There's importance that God has placed in you. There's a skill that God has placed in you. And He knows that you are cut out for that specific role of leadership. Now, this section of Timothy having to be told by Paul not to feel bad, or rather not let anyone look down upon you because you are young, I've come to realize that in certain sectors, which with time I have seen, you find that, which has also happened even right here in Kenya, very many young people, especially in campus, are being used to derive a certain agenda or an ill motive of a leader. Now, you could also be watching this video and you're serving under a leader who may not necessarily have a positive agenda or a positive outlook. They may have a negative outlook, and they will try and use you in a way or another to try and spearhead a negative motive. Now, this is the area where you as a young person need to be very discerning and very wise, because scripture says that we need to be discerning and we need to be wise. It's up to you to say no. It's okay to say no. It's very much okay to say no. I find it that in very many areas, even speaking to people, we as young people, because we are trying to get something and trying to get life going, you're trying to make a point, or you're trying to prove a point, or you're trying to make a statement. Well, in actual sense, it's actually falling back to you. It's a fallback plan, which I'd advise you guys that if God has called you out to this, and if you find yourself serving in such a leader or in such a context, in such an environment, it's very, very critical for you to be wise and discerning and know that it's okay to say no. Even though it means that I'm going to lose my job, I'd rather honor God other than having to sustain a job where I will strive and I will struggle in the long run, and it will affect me, it will affect my family, it will affect my future spouse, it will affect your current spouse, your children, you know. All these things have implications tagged onto them. So I'm here to let you guys know that do not let anyone once again look down upon you because you are young, but as Paul tells Timothy, set an example to the believers, you know, in word of mouth, in love, in purity. It means that we don't just go to people and tell them, I'm a believer, you know, go to people and tell them, I'm born again, but what exactly are you doing? What actions are you undertaking that can prove to people that you're working with and people that you're serving with that you're actually a believer? Purity needs to be there. Love needs to be there. Speech needs to be there. Your conduct needs to be there. This is what is going to prove to people that you are actually a believer. I pray that God will help you. I pray that God will spearhead you. I pray that God will assist you, that God will work in you and not feel intimidated or not feel discouraged in any way having to be a young leader, but that you'll get that courage and that confidence to walk in the assignment that God has outlined for you as a leader in the area that He has placed you in. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do engage with us on our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share. There are guys at the back end who are willing to hear you out, willing to pray for you, willing to counsel with you guys. And until next time, God bless you.